and turning their microphone off, so that it gives us better reception and they are not seen if they've got any personal reasons for that. And also, when it comes to the end of the meeting, that please be careful what you say, or whatever, because the recording carries on for several, well, it's probably 20, 30 seconds at the end, while Sue has chance to take people out of the meeting. So don't fall over that. We will work some proper words out that we can all use at the beginning of meetings, because I think with what's been announced today and where we seem to be going, we are with these Zoom meetings for the foreseeable future. I think that's one of my things I'd like to say as we start. And I'll thank you for putting me in as chairman. Right, we'll go to the agenda then. Number 3, Sue, have we got anybody for public speaking?
Nobody's been in touch with me to ask.
Stuart?
Yes, Chris?
This putting things on screen, if you as chairman is happy, I will trial it and put the odd thing on screen that might be relevant to what we're talking about at the moment, at the time, you know.
Well, as I have seen what you've said about it under the communications, and I'm sorry if I looked a little bit blank, and I'm still a bit blank. I don't quite understand what you're on about, Chris. I think, yeah, if you want to try it, give us a warning and we can try it, but I'd like to see what you're trying to do first.
Okay. If then they can put on screen, just say take it off straight away, but it won't be anything, it won't be anything such, it'll just be stuff off the agenda. Basically,
well, right, okay. It's just whether it's there for for filming, and whether I actually understand what you're trying to do. I can see Nigel's got his hand up. Would you like to unmute yourself, Nigel, and speak?
Stuart, can I know it's not on the agenda, but can I declare an interest in one of the items on the agenda?
Well, yes, that would be a good idea.
I'm a member of Chapel-on-the-Frith Community Group, which has applied for a grant, so I'm not going to take any part in that discussion.
Oh, when we get to grants, right. Thank you for that, Nigel. And I can see, Stella, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Chapel-on-the-Frith Community Group. But can I also say that because of the COVID and everything, I think we're going to take away the grants for now, and the grant application for now anyway.
Oh, right, okay. Well, in with that one, I will say, because obviously this is the first meeting of the F&GP that we've all been at, and I do have to declare an interest. It's AN other interest as such in the mobile physiotherapy service grant that's up tonight, because I'm automatically put on as being in Chapel as a borough councillor on that committee. It does not make any difference to me, pecuniary, monetary wise, or anything like that. I'm just serving as a member of the council on it on behalf of everybody else. So I will give AN other interest on that. And I think, Chris, you want to say something on that one as well.
AN other as well, because obviously my spouse is a member. Even though I'm not a member like you, Stuart, but my spouse is.
Well, she's a member as a borough councillor like myself, but also she's the chair of the committee. So, yeah, I think that's wise. And anything that comes up with those, obviously, we will take into consideration. But obviously, yourself and myself can still vote on it on that. It's within the rules with the dispensation, because we're on I'm on officially. Right. So if that's everything for declarations of interest, which I think we'll have to put on the agenda in the future, to consider draft terms of reference number 4. If I could just ask Sue on that one first.
Yeah, you've obviously got a copy of what we've done in draft. I don't know if there's any amendments.
I do have one comment, which is that I know in the past the Communications Committee hasn't really had its own budget. It's just been sort of an ad hoc agreement. But could we have it sort of formally done at the budget meeting, that we know how many newsletters are going to be produced and how much the Communications Committee is going to spend?
Yeah.
When we actually do our budget meetings in January?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't think I think we're going to have to, because we know we're stuck as we are till next May. I think there's 2 or 3 things that will come up when we have a budget, do the budget meetings. So yeah, I think we can put that forward towards the budget, Nigel.
So that would be under item 5 of the procedures in the F&GP terms of reference, just adding the communications committee there.
Right, yes, where we've got the amenities in the town hall. Yeah. Well, I'd got one as well to say that under, where are we? I think it's number 3 under the procedures as well. Is it number 3? No, number 2, sorry, I'm reading it upside down, where it says about the chair and the vice chair for 12 months. Because of people's circumstances, I'd like us actually to possibly add some other words in there, and because obviously we've just put myself in as chairman at the moment. Obviously it's not going to be for 12 months, it's only going to be till the next AGM as such, which will be next May. I think it should not just be for 12 months, but it should be for for that municipal year, or the rest of that new municipal year, or something like that. I don't know if you've got any better wording.
Until the AGM of the parish council.
Yeah, because obviously we've had to change somebody else. Do you think that would be better wording there? Yeah. Is everybody in favour of those 2 changes?
Yeah.
Well, with that one, obviously, part and parcel of this, I'm going to ask, are you happy? The other part of that was, are you happy just to have a chairman, or do you want to leave the vice chairman until we've got more people come May, or do we want a vice chairman now?
Yeah, it's overkill at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, if something big comes up, I'm sure we can talk it over on email.
Right, but we'll leave that in the procedures ready for May then, because when we've got more people, we will have a vice chairman as well. So, is there any other views on the terms of reference? Anybody else want anything else changing or adding? So with that, I can't see any hands up. Would somebody like to propose and second, please?
I'll propose.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Nigel. Everybody in favour, if you could just show the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in favour of that. So they are done, Sue.
Same.
With those 2 amendments.
Yeah.
So now we'll move on to number 5, the grants. Well, just a little bit of point of note here that I'd just like to say, in the respect of, in the past we have done grants in part 1 of the meeting. I know I sent an email around to you considering whether it should be in part 2. I know the other councils, some do it in part 1, some do it in part 2, some have a separate grants committee. As we are carrying on to do this in part 1, I'm not particularly 100% happy with it, unless people are, please be careful, noted and everything. When we are talking about groups, if it is sensitive about their money or the person or somebody there, either not to name them or be prudent with what you say, because as we now know that people are filming things, it is on the websites, and I would hate to get into trouble. I'm just going to mute myself a minute. I'll turn the phone off. I'm sorry. You can't stop the phone answering, can you? Oh, God. Sorry about that. I'll have to learn how to turn me normal phone off. I don't have a non-ringer. Apologies for that, people. So I just say, just be careful and wary of what's said while we're talking and discussing people's, finances, as you might say, because I'm just a bit dubious about it all being in part 1, and some people might be upset about that. But anyway, with that, we'll move to the first one, which is a grant for Chapel Community Group. Now, obviously, two people
No,
here have
yeah.
mentioned that they have an interest. I think, Stella, you want to say something first, don't you?
Yeah, as because of the COVID, what we were going to ask for a grant towards the cost of the town hall to hold the Christmas grotto for the Santa and everything. Last year, Liam paid for it out of his chairman money. But obviously, because we're not having that, I'm going to put that on hold till next year.
Right, so basically you're withdrawing this one out of the grants at the moment.
Yes.
W-
Yeah.
Well, I must admit, I thank you for that, Stella, because I was going to propose that we withdrew it at the moment, and I think we should, because we only have limited money that we can spend, and it's a case of, I think we should spend what money we've got this year on the necessities this year, and if not, decide to roll it over to next year. And if you're going to do one come the summer of next year, when hopefully we're out of these restrictions, it would make more sense to deal with it then. So I thank you for withdrawing it, because I was going to propose something along those lines. Is everybody else happy that that's the way forward on that one? Chris and Jason, as we're the only ones that can vote on it.
Stella's withdrawn it, so it, it's already happened, so to speak.
Yeah, but you're happy with that?
Yes.
Right, so that one's withdrawn then. Now we'll move on to the mobile physiotherapy one, which is number 2 on our list. Where are we? Oh, that's that one.
Can I just make a general point about mobile physio, that it is a wonderful service that is run in Chapel, and we need to protect it, and one way that we can do it is by giving them money. I think it would be great if we did.
Right, well, Stella's got a hand up.
Yeah, also it does go to, it doesn't just stay in Chapel, does it? It does go to Doveholes and Sparrow Pit, everywhere. So it's been going over 50 years, and I just think we can't afford to lose that.
Yeah, well, just to add to, because obviously I'm on the committee and I can answer any questions on that one. Yes, it has, as of October this year, it has been going 50 years. We were hoping to do a celebration because it's what covers the old rural district council area, and it was set up by the council as such. That's why it was run through the council offices to begin with. And the mayor of the High Peak is always the president of the mobile physio. So we are supported by the Borough Council as well with these things. So I'm glad that you've mentioned both those, because it's sort of agreeing with what I feel. Chris, you've got your hand up.
I could reiterate what everybody else has said. Every penny goes to the Cliff Face. They were the High Peak Charity of the Year last year. It's the 50th anniversary. They've tried to expand into the Oak Valley as well. Theoretically, they cover everywhere in the High Peak except for the two big towns of Glossop and Buxton. But in reality, they can't go that far because of resources. But it is amazing, streamlined charity that's fantastic, basically.
Yeah, well, I can also say that they do the fundraising. They are using, they have been using the co-op where you put your money in from what you've been buying when you use your card. Also, the latest one is for Amazon Smile or something it is, that's worked through Amazon, and that you can actually donate money when you're buying through Amazon if you wish, like you can to other charities and that. So it is a way they have of getting money in, but like I say, not a lot comes in, and it's very worthwhile, because I can say my wife and my mother have both used it to the good. So I would be supporting this. Now, the only question I've got with Sue before we start on just deciding on a price, as you might say, how much grant funding have we got this year, Sue, to give away as such? Where are we at?
You should have a list in your pack. So you've got,
right.
it starts with the the churchyard maintenance grants, which is £700 for Chapel Parish Church, and then 200 each for the Methodist Church and Chapel and in Duff Holes, and the Parish Church in Duff Holes. Then you've got a general grants budget of £1,000, which obviously these on agenda item 5 would come out of. And
Right. So we're looking at 1,000 really to work towards.
yeah,
Chris, you've got your hand up.
The churchyard, is that a fixed amount we have to pay by statute, or do they have to send
No.
us an account?
Can I? Can I say that is decided at our grant at the F&GP at the beginning of the year, because people have asked for percentage rises over the years of increase and that, because I know when I first started they were on a lot less than that.
it isn't, we don't have to pay it by statute, it's a voluntary contribution.
Yeah. So we usually decide, that's what I'm going to say, with the grants, we usually try and do it twice a year, in the respect of, if we did it at the May general sort of start of the year, nobody has actually got their committees up and running and been able to put any paperwork in for grants. So we try and do one at this time of the year when people know what they're wanting and what they're doing, and usually one at the beginning of the year when they know what the winter's brought and everything, and that's when we do that one. So Nigel, you've got your hand up. You're muted at the moment, mate.
Yeah. So can I propose that we give £500 to Chapel Mobile Physio, as they've requested?
Right. Stella, are you seconding that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Is everybody in favour of that? Yeah. Jason? Yeah, thank you. Right, so we're doing the 500 for the mobile physio. Right, so with that, we'll move on to, where's my next piece of paper? The Chapel in the Frith Vegan Info and Social Group. Now, just to let you know on this one, this did come to us last year. I don't know which of you were here and remember the debate about it. Some of you would have been. And it's a case of it's come to us again. There are just a couple of things. We've always, like with what's just been said about the mobile physio, it goes to the wider people. The couple of things that were said last year with this one is, we always ask for an account and everything. And I remember, Nigel, you had something to say about not the small ones don't always have accounts and everything. It's not possible, which we sorted out last year. And then obviously this is a smaller thing, so they didn't get anything last year, but there we go. And just sort of bringing you up to date for the ones, because I don't know that Jason was party to it all last year, or Stella. So I'll move on. I've got Nigel's hand up first.
Yes. So the person who's made this application on behalf of Chapel Vegan Information and Social Group, and also he's made another one on behalf of the Lawrence Players. Can I make a suggestion? Because in both cases, there is no bank account where we can make a donation. And so I'd like to make a suggestion that we allow that person to do photocopying through the parish council office up to a certain limit. And that would avoid the problems of monitoring where cash is going.
Right. Well, that's a. So you're actually saying, can we take the vegan group and the Lawrence Players together?
Yeah.
On that one. Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Fair enough. I'll consider that while we're just looking on. Chris, you've got your hand up.
My suggestion was not similar to Nigel, but coming from a different direction. They're very genuine people, but they haven't got accounts and that sort of stuff, or bank account. But they do seem to be suggesting that if we did give them a payment, they would open a check, they'd open an account. Now, I was just wondering whether we should maybe just give them a very small amount, a nominal amount, maybe £50, and so that they will open an account and get better organised, and then in times to come, obviously we can look more sort of thing. But to me, we just need to help them get this bank account open at this moment in time.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying there. I don't know whether the bank account is the priority as such, because I do know up to COVID they were sitting and using the library because there's only a small group of them. The library was allowing them that use, and I do know during the COVID period they've actually been using the dais in the park while the weather was nice to meet there. So I don't know whether the bank account is the main necessity for them. I'm actually thinking that Nigel might have come up with a reasonable suggestion to help them, because they are only a small group, and if they get to a wider group and decide that they need a bank account and everything, whether that's a way forward in the future. But for this year, because it's going to be very difficult for them to actually, under COVID, to open a bank account and where to go and what to do, and also they do want to try and get to a wider group. Any other thoughts from Jason or Stella? Stella, you had your hand up?
No, I was just scratching. I don't think they're asking for a great lot anyway, but I do think if it's for photocopying and that, if we could do that, it'd be equivalent to giving them the money anyway, if we're going to do the photocopying, won't it?
Yeah.
Because they've still got to buy the ink.
Jason?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I've listened to both propositions from Nigel and Chris, and I'd have to say that, similar to Stella, I believe that it would be beneficial to both if we went along with the photocopying in the library at this moment in time, and look to revisit if they apply again in the future.
Well, just on that one, because I'm just reading down the vegan one, it says about a newsletter. They're talking of between 100 and 200 copies. What would that actually cost us, Sue?
It's 5p for an A4 black and white copy.
Nigel, you've got your hand up. You've obviously done some quick maths.
So can I make a proposal that the person who's made both these applications, that we provide £100 of credit in the parish office, which he can use on either of these for producing newsletters?
So you're proposing £100 between the two,
yes,
the Lawrence Players and the vegan group, for photocopying in the parish office.
Yeah.
Have I got a seconder for that suggestion? Jason, thank you. And I can see Stella's hand up. So I'm presuming, Chris, are you happy with that? Yeah. So we'll take those two that they've got £100 between them of credit then, Sue.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
That's fine.
So that just then moves us on to the frontline debt advice. Nigel, you've got your hand up.
Yes, I've met the applicant earlier on during lockdown. He's a Baptist minister, and so is his wife, and they've just recently moved to the area, and they were running a similar debt advice scheme where they previously lived, and now they're setting one up here. I know that he's going to work with churches and also with High Peak Food Bank to run this service. However, I mean, I've looked through it. He's asking for more money than we can provide, and I think he really should be aiming at bigger pools of money, such as Derbyshire County Council or the borough.
Right. Well, what I was going to say on this one was, because of the size of the money, we haven't got the money. We are meant to be helping smaller groups within the parish. I know we don't have a rubric as such with the parish council, but usually with other charities that I've worked with, you don't end up giving to larger businesses. You don't give up to people. And if you look at the accounts, that's why I wanted to be careful with what was said. If you look at their accounts, they've got quite a bit of money there. The small amount that we would be able to give would not, it would be like a drop in the ocean. It would not make a blind bit of difference as such. I do agree that it's probably a very good thing, but also we can't guarantee that it's for people in Chapel necessarily. It could go out to the wider area. And with that, I think you're probably right in the respect of the Borough Council, the County Council, even the Peak Parkour. And if it's going to go through the food bank in Buxton that does a lot of help, they are supported by the Borough Council. I can say that anyway. And I think in my mind, I'd be saying no, that we shouldn't give anything to this. We should just actually be possibly steering them towards the other people who may have more money to be able to give. Stella, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because we can't give them the amount they need, and like you say, it's a drop in the ocean, but give them the names and the best places to go to help them along the way, because whether they're small or big, we want to try and help them, even if not financially. Jason,
you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was just wondering if you'd be able to get in touch with myself as a Borough Councillor, Stuart, maybe Kath, maybe Jim Perkins, and offer them advice as to where they might be able to get larger amounts of money from.
Well, I'd say on that one, I can certainly go through with the clerk, and because obviously we have to reply to everybody, and yes, we can add that into the reply. That isn't a problem if that's what
just so it's wish. You know, I don't want it to be a blanket. No thanks, you're too big for us. You know,
I appreciate.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you want to be able to help everybody, even if it's not financially, in directing them in the right way. Especially if they're new to this area, they might not know.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite happy to work that to do the Borough Council bit, and then we can do that, can't we, Sue? In the reply.
We can, yes. The other thing is, we pay into an organisation called Grants Online, who will alert us to any sort of funding streams that are coming, about. So I could keep an eye on that, and if there's anything that looks possible, I can pass that information on.
Yeah, that'd be great, Sue, because my take on this is it's an asset to the parish that there are people in there prepared to help people in these trying times. And really, I just didn't want to go back with a blanket. I'm sorry, we can't help.
No, I say it's how you word it, isn't it? When you reply to them, that's what you're getting at, and I think that's a very good one, Sue. That we have got that we can add into. So, I'll propose then, if that's all right by you, that we say no from our fund because there isn't sufficient there, but we will give them all the help and the advice that we can do and pass it on to them. Have I got a seconder for that one? Thank you, Jason. And is everybody happy with us dealing with that one that way? Yep. Thank you, everybody. So that means we spent £600 of our 1,000, as you might say. So there's 400 in the kitty for later in the year. Well, that'll be the new year when something else comes forward. And I'm sure with the way we are at the moment, there will be other things coming forward. Right. If that's that, there's no others, anything else, is there, Sue, on the grants? There's nothing else coming, or?
No.
Stuart, can I just make a suggestion about grants? That if we have some money left over at the end of the financial year, perhaps it might be a nice thing to do to sponsor local sports teams. So Duffholes Cricket Ground, Chapel Cricket Ground, Chapel Town. So I mean, it would serve two purposes. One of which is to give money to sport and young people, and the other is that it would make us look good by having advertising hoardings at these places.
Yes, it's something we can look into. I think we, rather than just doing it here on the Hoof now, I think it's something we can look into when we come to our finances next year. I don't have a problem with looking into it. What I was going to say was, because of the COVID rules, the way things are, there's no reason actually why next year we can't actually roll this over to the following year to give us more money to actually spend on somebody and make it more worthwhile, was what I was going to say anyway. So both of them are worth looking at for next year as such when we do our accounts. So with that, we'll move on to number 6, which is the risk assessments, which you've all received. Is there I'm going to be fairly quick in the respect of asking anybody if they've seen anything in the risk assessments that they've picked up upon, and whether Sue wishes to bring any attention to anything for anybody.
No, just to say, really, it's something that we have to do for our annual audit. So obviously it covers administration, finance, town hall and parks, and it go both internal and external audit look at it.
Yeah, there was just a couple of things I was going to say when we come to dealing with things now, in the respect of under the town hall one, we have got where it says a 5-year rolling plan for the town hall, which obviously went to 2020. We need to be considering when we have the town hall committee in a minute that we need to be extending our 5-year plan because we've come to the end of it. And I would like to see that obviously under the parks one, can we add in under the parks one that we have a 5-year plan there, and we'll continue when we're doing the amenities that we get a 5-year plan, but we need to put it in with that. So I think that should be coming under the risk management review when we get there. Chris, you've got your hand up.
Oh, there's just one thing I picked up on, that the accounts are backed up off-site monthly. Now, most people back their accounts up every day, and just basically I'm just
Yeah, we do. We back them up every day in-house, but monthly when we've reconciled the accounts at the end of the month, then they get backed up by the software provider off-site. So if we had a crash or anything, it can be restored by the software provider.
Okay, say we've gone a month, and it's just that most accounts go to the cloud every day now. So how much work would it be to put everything back in if it's gone a month? Or
if it's been gone a month, I don't know, half a day most. We don't have that much stuff.
Okay, well that's probably bearable, but there's,
I mean, we can, if you wanted, we can send them to them as often as we want, really, because it's just like a zip file that we email to them.
right. Yeah, I mean, I know my own place, it just goes up, the software does its own backup, and then gets sent up to the cloud every night, right, middle of the night, every night, so I don't know, but I know we've got a bit of work to do on the website, so I don't know if they'll be the same people as maybe. You can get free plans just for how much you can have on the cloud. There's a lot of free, and the amount of data on the backup of the accounts would not be a lot. But anyway, we can look at that. I just wanted to highlight it.
Right. Well, I'll just finish off what I was saying, Chris. I'll go back to, because I'd said about the 5-year rolling plan as such. It's under the buildings, but it's not under the parks. And then it's maintenance that's under the town hall, but it's not on the parks. I think we need to put those two together, Sue, in the respect of for both parks and buildings and for the town hall in respect of a 5-year rolling plan for upgrading and for maintenance, because that's where both of them have fallen down. And I think we need to put that in properly on the two. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they're sort of split up at the moment. Chris, your hand's up again.
I think this came up last year. The park manager's crane certificate maybe just needs rewording slightly. I think it came up last year.
As in?
Where
are you looking?
The park manager holds a crane certificate. It's difficult like that. It's just we'll have to word it correctly one day.
It is a spraying certificate.
Oh yeah, the spraying one, yeah. Yeah, because he went and did it last year with the Borough Council lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
So you can use the, yeah.
On the risk assessment, it says praying
Oh, it says praying, sorry,
on the buildings.
sorry.
Sorry,
Oh.
you're echoing, Chris. You're not sounding very good.
Oh, sorry. I'm having to tilt sideways to read this form on the screen. That's all.
So with the changing of it saying spraying rather than praying,
Yeah.
and doing 5-year plans for upgrading as well as maintenance. And there was one other one, wasn't there, that Chris had said about looking at backup on the cloud or whatever for finance.
Yeah.
Is everybody happy? Is everybody happy with the risk assessments as they are, and we will add those in for next year?
Yeah, can I just ask a question? We've still not seen the 5-year plan for the park yet, have we?
No,
It's
we
not-
haven't made it, but no,
Sorry, I
we
think
haven't
it's gone-
made it yet.
It's, Jason, it's gone to you, hasn't it?
Pardon?
Well,
Me?
Emma sent it to you to look at, hasn't she, as chair of amenities?
I'm going to pass on that one. I will have a look. I don't recall seeing it recently. Recently, Sue?
I thought so. I'll have to check that then.
Yeah.
I've got a copy of it here because I started writing it, so it'll be about 3 weeks ago, Jason.
Right, okay. I shall have a look.
And I asked Emma to copy it and send it on to you,
Right, 3 weeks ago.
something like that.
I
Yeah,
think we all need to see that, don't we?
yeah. Well, I would say that it's in time. I'd written down with the park keeper and everything things that we were thinking of. Send it to Jason for him to have a look at. It can come up at amenities, and then it can come up to the budgets and everything. So it was just going through the process, and I don't think you have seen it yet, Stella.
No,
But it needs to be put in the risk assessments ready for next year, because by then
Right.
we will have done it.
yeah, right.
Is everybody, have we got a proposer and a seconder to accept the risk assessments then with those changes? I'll propose. Nigel's got his hand up as a seconder. Everybody in favour? Thank you. So that's the risk assessments done. What else we got on here? Anything else? That's it, I think, then, isn't it, for the F&GP for tonight? So with that, I'll say thank you all for your time on that one. Now, the question I have for you, Sue, at this moment in time, we're going into the town hall meeting. Do we all need to leave and come back, or do we just carry on?
I've done it all as one on one Zoom meeting ID and password, so that you can all just carry on. If there's anything you want to talk about before it, then I can put the members of the public in the waiting room, or you can just carry on.
Yeah, I've got something that I'd like to just to discuss with as before we move on to the town hall, please, Stuart. Just a question going back into.
Well, I say, you want to do it now under the F&GP?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Right. Well, can we can we ask that we can move into part 2 as such, so that the people can go into the waiting room and then come back? Is that okay with everybody? As Jason has a question.
Yeah.
So we've got proposer
Yeah.
and seconder, yeah?
I'll propose. Stella's seconded.
Right, so I'll just put the members of the public in the waiting room.
Thank you for your patience, I'll say to the members of the public who are waiting.
It's just going to take a minute, so